Hello. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, evening, whatever time zone in the world you all are. Just my mic a bit. It's your Blue Archive Gacha Wheel, beginner artist self-proclaimed, and your boy Tosanyu. Welcome to the stream for today. I will be doing art stream here and drawing Natori Sana, OG VTuber in the scene, and she is also like pretty based, I would like to say. Watched her like Blue Archive streams or like clips of those, and I thought like, man, I like her, you know. So wanted to like draw fan art of her, since also I kind of like a character design. There's a little bit of lore behind of that, and it's like also like pretty charming. You see on the left side some samples, so this is like what you can expect, like chibi style wise, but also if I do not chibi. So this can like take about 2 hours, maybe 1 hour, but I think like about 2 hours or so. Just like woke up like I think like 30 minutes before the stream, like I overslept, kind of. Like the plan was like to stream 30 minutes earlier, but kept sleeping. The alarm didn't I just like overslept the alarm. And then when I like kinda look at the clock when I woke up, I was like, oh, a little bit too late. But yeah, anyways, I have a little bit issues on like sleeping. My coughing got like kinda worse, I would like say. I'm still like trying to heal up, you know, but let's see like about that. Like you don't like hear me coughing right now, but sometimes I do not like coughing like in the middle of the stream. Okay, I get this. But let's say like because of that I couldn't really like fall asleep or so. Went like to sleep like around 12 AM or so, and then I was like able to like sleep 2 hours, and then I woke like up because I had to cough, and I'd like to stay awake I stayed like awake for maybe like 15 minutes or so, because it would like really stop with my cough. So made some hot water, cooked up some hot water, and like tried to like soothe my throat and my nose a little bit with that. And it like took like about 5 minutes or so afterwards, like took like 20 minutes to like fully fall asleep. So yeah, here we are. I was like able to sleep like about maybe like about 6 hours. Yeah, about 6 hours. I kind of like reached the minimum somewhat. I think I was not able to dream, not that I can remember anything. Okay, I'm not really sure like how and what to draw. But like start off with some sketches. But let's say like, even though if this like night was like not the best kind of experience, I had like worse kind of nights where I really couldn't fall asleep. There was like a time where I was like during this week where I was like awake for 1 hour or so because I couldn't like get back to sleep, and just like drank tea, like something hot, something like hot water. Try to like get the steam into like my nose, you know, like breathing in like the steamy hot water, kind of like the steam from that. Drinking it, you know, to like soothe the throat, and I had like to wait until I stopped like coughing that much, and when I think like it was kind of okay for now, then I could like go back, but it took like a while. It was like kind of like annoying, I would like say. And like ways on like making it better, I don't know really. At the very least I can stream, but when I was like thinking back about my karaoke stream this week, I did have like some coughing here and there. Still I could like sing the whole song without interruption, but oof, man, it is like kind of hard with a debuff, I would like say. Yeah, it's kind of a debuff. No instant cure or anything. You have like to live with the pain, kind of, for me. Uchi-san! Hello, good to me, welcome to the stream. I'm trying a fan art of Natori Sana, an OG in the Vtuber Scene. Was like active since 2018, welcome. Guess what? What? Nani? Nani? I'm here. Hello, you're here, let's go. Ocarina Sai. But yeah, without debuff it's like kinda like hard to like go on, I would like say. But regardless I still have to stream, so here we are. How are you today, Oji-san? How's your morning so far? I kinda overslept, I would like say. I was supposed to stream like 45 minutes ago, but I kept sleeping. I woke like 10 minutes afterwards, and I looked at the clock and was like, overslept. And I pushed like the stream like around 7 AM, so like 50 minutes ago, and here we are. I was able to at least like rest a little bit and ate something. Brushing my teeth was not enough yet, so, but still, it's like better than nothing so far. So the morning was kind of like, eh? And the day so far was like, let's say I feel like still the debuffs, like still like the pain, kind of like from the debuffs, but yeah. My hotel has shitty Wi-Fi, but I'm still here. Hey, let's go. I hope like, I probably think like that art streams are not necessarily that much of a burden for hotel Wi-Fi, so maybe this will be fine. Overslept, dope. Still sleeping is fun. Yeah, I do like sleeping when I'm sick. When I'm not feeling well, I do like sleeping. Or if I feel exhausted, sleeping is the way. Even if I'm mentally exhausted, let's say not physically, no, via sickness or like via exhaustion, sleeping is still like good. It helps you to reset mentally, and you have like kind of like a restart, let's say. They call power naps, you know, kind of, but sometimes if you just need like a little bit of rest, you know. But yeah, overall, great. Do you have a cold still? Yes. I think like it either got worse or it remained unchanged. I don't really know what this is, you know, but being sick in summer is not great, I would say. Usually you think like, yeah, you need to be... Let's say it's rains outside and you come like back with like drenched clothes, you know, then it's like one way to get that cold, you know, kind of. Because your body's like, has like to suffer like cold temperatures and this kind of like state for a long while, you know. Or if you go like outside and it's like cold and you have only a t-shirt on, that's also one way to get like a cold, you know, like get sick. But during summer, how do I get sick, you know? This is kind of like weird for me. Like I don't know like how I got like this debuff in the first place, you know? So yeah. Like my temperature should be like pretty high, body temperature wise. And there would be like no way to get like sick, but I think like maybe pollen, but at the same time I do not have allergies at all, so I got like many mosquito bites and I read like the mosquitoes can inject you with sicknesses, you know. Some are able to inject you like deadly diseases, but I think like maybe just like regular ones, I don't know, so yeah. And I do like discover myself, you know, when you get mosquito bites or so. And if you scratch on those can like pop up and then you just start bleeding, you know. So I avoided like scratching those at any means, you know. But for some reason, like, you know, when I put like on new socks, you know, they sometimes bite you in the at the feet or like around there, you know, or the shin, around the shin area. I put like on socks or so. And I would like do my own day, and then I come back home like wanting to wash my feet or so, and then for some reason it like hurts there, looking like down there, and all the bites, mosquito bites, you know, like all the spots like were like, you know, I didn't scratch there, but then I see like there are blood or so, blood stains, and it's kind of like, what the hell, you know. So yeah, kind of like it's kind of like a pain, but also like maybe that's like how I got sick, I don't know. Like I don't think my immune system's that weak. I struggle to fall asleep when I was sick. It feels uncomfy. Yeah, right. But it's like not as bad, you know. It is like somewhat but I'm not dying, you know, at the very least. I hate when I get a call from someone else, it feels like betrayal. Yeah, but this is like how viruses are, you know, kind of. They want like to go to next host, and then it's like that. And being sick in summer is like, yeah, not great. Really? I like scratching them, it's like addiction. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, it soothes you in a way, you know? If you like pet your cat and scratch them around the neck or whatever, like parts where they can hardly reach, it also soothes them away as well, you know? And I think like humans have like that kind of like thing as well, like when they have an itchy spot, but even if it feels good, it is not good, you know? Sorry, I got rimmer in my eyes, I can't see right now. BRB, alright. If you think like about like the worst sicknesses I really got, it's like always like when I was a child. It was always like kind of like seasonal, you know, like every time during winter I would get like this horrible cough. It gives me like trouble to fall asleep as a kid, you know, or like live my daily life. And I would have like this cough like for about a week or so every single time. Until some point, like when I got like, let's say when I'm considered an adult, you know, this is like where I stopped, and I think like maybe my immune system got like finally like really strong enough, you know, to like fight off the seasonal cough, you know, or yearly cough, like in a way. But I suppose I really need to pay attention like how I eat, I suppose, and how I go on with my day, I suppose. But I cannot really think about anything that triggered this kind of cold. Might be mosquito bites, you know. Not necessarily like that someone that you get the cold from like another person, but you know, that insects might be like just be the case, you know. I almost lost my eye, bro. That was horrible. What? But you know, if you lose your eye, you can put an eye patch like freaking Majima, you know? You could get like partner look, and you know, your Kotomi, your base, you have like maybe like the trip, and then your fucking eye patch, you know? This could be like a good thing. We once thought I was sick for like a year straight after we found out I'm allergic to my cat. What? Yeah. If it's just a cat, I suppose, yeah. Can't do anything about that. It can be more bearable, you know, if it's just like allergy against like the cat hair. If you have like a humidifier or so. Something like, you know, something like that. Because with like just a cat hair, it's like has something to do with like the dustiness or so. And humidifier, maybe like air filter, yeah, something like that. Like I heard like, I watched like some videos of like some guy who had like some ragdoll cats or so. He's usually allergic to his cats, but because he has some kind of air filter plus humidifier in his room, actually it's like pretty okay, you know. His allergy doesn't get like triggered or like triggered that hard at all. Not really sure. I was like, okay, actually it might not be too bad. You can like live with this allergy in a sense, you know. OMG, you're right. I be like Majima, yes. Can like wear a fatty eye patch, you know, or you can be like Kaneki Ken, you know, put like on like this thing, and then people will ask you, hey, what about this eye patch, you know? Then oh, I've seen my power in there, you know, and I cannot unseal it. If I unseal it, you don't wanna know what happens. Ah, tickets. Step back. Step back. My power's gonna sick. Release. Step back. I have to hold it back. Or something like that, you know. It can be Majima, you can be Marina. Dinamika too. I'm really sorry. Yeah, for sure. Are you allergic to anything besides grass? Grass? I'm not really allergic to anything at all. I do believe I am healthy. I should not have any allergies, I believe. I was like kind of like thinking I was like allergic to some specific kind of chocolate with like those sprinkles. Like how do you call that? You know, like if you have a muffin or so, they sprinkle like some of those like colorful kind of stuff in up of that. like yellow, blue, red or so, and they're like I would like through them, you know, but they're like those short kind of lines. Okay, well, what can I compare that? They're kind of like short sticks, you know, like sprinkles of that are like kind of like sweet tasting, you know. You can like sprinkle them like over muffins or like cakes, you know, and it looks like more colorful or something like that. I believe I was like kind of allergic as a kid against those, you know, because I would like get like how do you call that? Like, let's say like something of it would like trigger something of a skin disease or so, that I would like get like something on that. Check. I don't have the vocab for that. I thought I would have it, but I don't have. Translate. A pimple. Okay, okay. So it's called a pimple. I thought like this kind of like candy sprinkles or so would like trigger like some kind of pimple, you know, like as a response, but actually maybe I just like got it the first time, and then the second time I bit like already, my body already developed antibody against that, and then it's fine. Sprinkles, I think that's the name, yeah. You couldn't have sprinkles as a kid? That's so sad, you should be rewarded. Should be rewarded for doing that, it's horrible. Yeah, it would have been horrible, but I think like my body recovered and then it should be like fine for now. Like I kind of was like, you know, complaining to my dad, hey, I have like a allergy against that, you can't give me that again. Then he's just a candy, you know, chill man, or something like in that sense, you know. And usually, I can't dox myself, but usually, like my dad also has no allergies really, and usually in my culture, you know, it's kind of like if you have like allergies, you're kind of like weak, you know. Like if you like peanuts, you know, then you have like peanut allergy. It's like why so weak, you know? Why so weak? It's kind of in a sense, but that turns out I already have antibody against that. My body developed like antibody, and then it's like fine actually, and then I can just like eat normally, and yeah. It was kind of like, okay, never mind then, you know, I think like I made too much drama around nothing. And as a kid I was not really familiar like with like those kind of like things that your body can adapt to like circumstances. So yeah. But if it's like things like regular cold, regular cough, you know, then I suppose it can't like do much because it's like kind of common, and if your immune system weakens or so for whatever reason, then yeah, then you get sick, I suppose. But if it's like something like a deadly disease, you know, like COVID for example, you get like how it's called? I think I should always have translator open. Vaccination, you know. If there's like deadly disease like COVID, and then there's like things like vaccination, you know, then this can help you like build antibody against that, you know. But if it's like a common disease, then yeah, I suppose you don't really need anything. Unless you are a really, really effed up case. Oh, my skin gets effed up when I eat chocolate, but my body doesn't dictate what I eat, I do. Yeah, that's true. Like, even if your body's like, nah, you in the head are like, yes, you know. Like the memes, you're lactose intolerant, just alert, bro. Yeah. Really? I had a friend that chugged milk until he stopped being lactose intolerant. Okay, yeah, that's like a way to like, It's kind of a way. But maybe he was like suicidal, you know, maybe like if you can like have like kind of like those kind of strong reactions when you like drink like milk, and when you start like chugging, you know, maybe he wanted to like your friend wanted to like, you know, in a sense like end their life, but when they started to live, anybody be like, ah, damn it, you know. If I like found out what I'm allergic against, I could like throw myself against it, you know, like I want you to die, you know. And when it turns out you cannot die because your body's like, I refuse, you know. Ah, damn it, you know. Yeah, maybe it was an attempt, you know. Yeah. Like life is you know, life is like can be mundane, you know, but also at some points you feel like, man, I wanna quit, you know, and then but you also instinctively a human doesn't want to die, and it's kind of like contradictory, you know. I think like a lot of people get that kind of in a sense. That sometimes it feels like it's not worth living, but at the same time you don't want to die because, you know, life has like a lot of like gifts that it can like give to you, you know. But yeah, like allergy, for example, is like one thing. When you want to end it, then it turns like out you build like antibody against that, you know, like resistance against something, you know, like in video games where you like start like to get something like that. Yeah, remember like those kind of pollen? You had like a strong reaction against two first. Now you are like pretty good with that for now. When it's like, okay, cool, you know. I would like say, especially if it's like with adorable like creatures like cats, you know, then it can be like cool if you're like finally able to endure that, you know. But yeah. It's funny to see it that way. Yes, so right. The body being so proud about being the ability, the person's so annoyed. Yeah. Oh, pollen allergy is so funny to me. Really? You think so? Like during summer we get like a lot of pollen because the plants are like they can like bloom there really, you know. That's like the kind of territory. Like I think spring around it's like finally starts off like, oh, there's kind of like a gap in the, you know, in the door where we can like slid through. But during summer the door's like being wide open when they can like, you know, go wild like with the growth and everything. And just like where I think, yeah, where it like goes wild like with the pollen. You can like get a lot of that in your nose, you know. Can like mix with the air, and then gets all tickly when you start like to sneeze and achoo and everything. And yeah, I think no, my dad is not allergic, but I knew like of a classmate who was like allergic, and like he would like tear up, you know, and had like a lot of snot like tears like running, and it was like reddened around his eyes, and it kind of like looked horrible, you know, like this kind of pollen allergy. And we had like sometimes it like usually he was like always fine, like this classmate of mine, but sometimes we have like those kind of like wandering trips, you know, in school, and then it was like summer, we would like go through the forest to like fields, and then like have like somewhere nearby like a resting area, like a restaurant, a bar, something like that. And when we like go around the fields, then it's like where his pollen would like trigger, and it's kind of looked horrible, like I thought like. And somewhere deep inside of me, I thought like, ah, why is he so weak? You know, something like that. But actually, if I look back at it right now, it's kind of like horrible, you know. I kind of downplayed this as kids, you know, but if I look at this, right, like, you know, look back at it, it's kind of like, yeah. What if I were in his shoes? Horrible. you have flowers and pollen the whole year, so being allergic to pollen isn't a really a thing. Every time I hear that, I laugh. It's so funny. Okay, I see. I kind of like remembered like watching a TV show, you know, that kind of explained like things like allergy, you know. When you get like exposed to it the first time, it can be that you're fine, you know. It's kind of like a coin flip in a sense. Whether you're not really get like allergic to that or not, you know. And if you get like exposed to a second time, then it can like happen that you get allergic to it or not at all, you know. Some fail this coin flip and then yeah. But I think it's also like other conditions. I cannot quite remember like what exactly, but there are some conditions also for that to happen. Can also be your genetics as well, like if your parents have like this allergy, then it's pretty likely that you as well can have this allergy as well. But from what I remember, I don't really have anything. Well, actually, my dad has some kind of allergy. It was like some kind of plant or so. With like some pelt and bushes on that or so. And then he said like to me, hey, can you pick that up? I'm allergic against that, you know, and throw that away. And then I was like, no, I don't wanna, as a kid also. Then he was like, kind of like, and picked it up regardless, you know. Yeah, I think so. Like, I was not allergic against that, but he was also. I was pretty spoiled as a kid, you know, so I kind of was like, nah, I don't wanna, you know, do that for you. Do that. What's your weak, man? And then I think like he kind of like got triggered. And yeah, something like that, I suppose. To be fair, everyone's weak against me. We'll just be realistic. Yeah, I saw a girl develop an allergy to bananas because a little bit touched her eye and made her immunological system detect their threats. Yes. Okay, I see. I'm not like really sure like how you can get allergic to like bananas, but maybe it can be like the banana skin, or like just the banana itself, like the eatable part. Not really sure. Like some have like specific allergy to like peach skin or so, and it would like trigger hysterical coughs from them, and it's kind of like looks horrible. It rarely is when I watch a movie like the Korean movie like called Parasites or so, and look kind of like holy crap, you know, pretty nasty. I wouldn't like to be at that end. There's an allergy to the sun where I learned that might blew up. Yeah, albinos, you know, something like that. Like those who have like white hair, kind of pale skin, or like mostly like people who have pale skin, you know. They can't really like go out to like outside for so long, and this albino kind of like thing. Some people like call it like the vampire disease or so, vampire allergy or something like that, you know? That they basically like have to like stay inside and avoid like the sun. But I think like it's mostly the UV rays, you know? Sunlight is nice, you know, for the warmth, but the UV rays are like nasty. And to be H, I don't like the UV rays as well. So yeah. It's crazy, real life vampires. Yeah, right? It's just so that they don't suck blood, you know? I have to hurry up, I think. But yeah, I always like treated like allergy and like weak and stuff like as weakness and like as rumor until I get like sick myself, and then it's like, you know, yeah. It's kind of like I'm like part of the audience, you know. And like in Squid Game, I'm like just looking at the audience and at like the gamers in there and just laughing, you know. I could do that better, you know. Why so weak and everything, and just like laugh my ass off until I get like into the situation myself, like where I get sick or like in a circumstance I'm like, oh, chill, just a moment, you know. I was just like joking, you know. It was like kind of fun, and then all of a sudden, you know, I get like involved in that as well. It's kind of like, yeah, okay, I understand, you know. In a sense, like how effed up like certain circumstances can be, but every single time I look at it from outside and I'm not affected, it's kind of like, you know, I'm just getting amused by like stuff and entertained. Maybe I got really desensitized from like, I don't know, watching too much anime or like movies or so where similar things like happened, you know, but just like for entertainment, you know. And when I like watch the real life people suffering under those circumstances, you know, and I like can just like laugh about it and like not be like too, you know, taken too seriously, I suppose. Maybe I'm like kind of a bad human, I suppose, back in the days. But yeah. Like watching a tournament judging the strategy, yeah, kind of. Usually it's kind of a horrible thing, like when people suffer through something, or if they get like hurt over and over again, like watching a tournament, you know, like in the underground arena or the Colosseum, and people like fight to death, and you're just like there for entertainment. It's like, oh, look at how they fight. Oh, what technique they have. Oh, whoa, this one sucks. Oh, this one's like the goat or something like that. And but someone's dying at the end of the day, or like suffering, and it's kind of like, you know, why is it okay? How humans treat this entertainment, you know? It's kind of like horrible, I would say. It shouldn't be allowed, I suppose. But then at the same time, our mind is like, it's just a show. It's just fine, you know? There's no special effects or whatever, you know, like nowadays. But if you find out like someone already really died, it's like, holy crap, you know, you know, in a sense. You know, like this fight scenes in movies or so, like when someone gets like stabbed or whatever. And then it's like, oh, by the way, they used it's like real, it's not special effects or so, you know, so that they can make a really fantastic movie or something like that. And then it's like, yo, bravo. Like back in the days, when like someone would like die in a movie or like get like his arm like slashed or like losing his arms or so, I always like thought back in the days it was like real, you know. That the actors would agree to that, you know, kind of like in a sense. Okay, we'd like do this choreography and this around there you break my leg or something like that. And then I was like thinking this was real, right? But then it was not, you know, kind of. But I always like had like an assumption like back in the days, you know, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it was crazy. Yeah, right. Oh, this movie, like 24 humans died or whatever, you know, something like that. And then this was real, right? And then no, it's not, you know, for legal reasons, not, or something like that, I suppose. Okay, just a moment. Everyone's a bit bad. If someone always is good, that would be total pushover, yes? I start a new business of cage fights now. I have a new goal. How do you make cage fights? Do you like get some 2 chickens, you know, put like some knife on their feet and then let them fight? I saw something like that in Asia also, like in the sea. No Cascara today, sigh. Well, you did hear a sneeze, maybe, I don't know. But yeah. I put 2 cages in the fight, no idea, no? Why 2 cages, you know? How can I fight if they are separated? But they actually are like those kind of entertainment, like chicken fights, and they're like chickens that are like professional fighters in a sense, or like are undefeated, you know. And because they are like pretty vicious as a fighter, you know, some people are unable to like you know, like slaughter them. Like usually, like in the chicken fights, the loser, you know, the loser chicken gets like you know, recycled, like eaten, you know, by the audience. Like they take that chicken and then okay, we don't have to kill it ourselves. Then yeah, let's make a meal out of that one, you know. But the winner, they would like live on, in a sense. Sometimes the fighter chicken, you know, gets at some point like really old, and then okay, it's time for slaughter. And then they would try to pick up the chicken, you know, but man, they still can kick ass, you know. And then they fight back actually, like they have like those short jumps, you know. They attack you with their feet, you know, that have like some claws on there, or like with their they peck at you with their you know, with their mouth, and it's kind of like okay, we're gonna let you in peace, you know, something like that. And they have like this kind of privilege, kind of. You remind me, I recently watched Rocky. Oh, I see. They kill them? I thought I just trained more. Nah. Like, it has kind of a purpose, you know. Like, it's very different from bug fights, because bugs you can't. Also, a lot of people are like not really wanting to eat like bugs, you know. But with like chicken, you know, that's fine. And also kind of a sport like in Asia back then. I think nowadays it's kind of illegal to like submit like animals under this kind of pressure, you know, because kind of like, you know, they're like kind of organizations like in the US also, you know, you have like a lot of people like in the US who are like kind of sensitive around like things like gender, animals, but mostly like gender and stuff, you know, like, or like when it comes to anime, like modern the modern audience, you know. But back in the days it was kind of wild, you know. Or like how some Chinese people like around there like are in Europe does, you know, and we have, or like a lot of like pigeons or whatever, then, you know, they would like shit around here and there or something like that, and they're gonna be like, ah, what a shame, you know. If this were our country, they would fear us. Something like that, you know. Then why, Mr. Han? Let's call him Mr. Han, you know. Then it's like, why? Because in our country they would get eaten. And it's like, okay, is that so? Fine, yeah. Something like that. Just like laughing it off, but they said like very serious face, you know, and then yeah. Sometimes you really need to show like who's the superior race, I suppose, and then yeah. To like have like a little bit more peace or like authority. If it was my country, pure pigeons, not humans, shows on the top of the evolution chain, yes. But then there are also like crows, you know, who are kind of like crazy as well. I think like crows are smarter than humans at this point, kind of. Of course they can't like... Yeah, I think like really crows are smarter than humans. Like nowadays. You know, sometimes people like ask themselves, what is the meaning of life? You know, why am I born? Why do I live? In this current times, you know, it's kind of like bad, I would like say, nowadays, because you have like made some developments in the tech industry, you know, And we have like things like artificial intelligence, you know? And then, you know, if some people like ask this question, what is the purpose of life? Then the answer can be, oh, you were born, you are alive, so that you can train like data to the or AI, you know? This is your purpose of life. And then they do like the things of like, we value your privacy, you know? We think about your privacy every day and everything because it makes us fucking money, and you know, we can sell the data. Cha-ching! This, we value your privacy a very lot, you know? And yeah, in the sense they like train the AI and this and that, and you don't really have like anything like peace and like anything like cool and philosophical going on. It's just like that you get used for their product, and it's kind of like, yeah, whatever. Meaning of life is to pay taxes. Yeah, that's well, if you look at it like in this kind of way. You gotta pay taxes, you gotta pay us money. By the way, you can train on AI, you know. Regarding your art skills, this can also be useful for AI, and you know, then it's kind of like, yeah, whatever, you know. Maybe not living is like better at this point, but but at the same time, you know, it can be like worth trying out, like still, like trying to like live, you know, and see if there's light at the end of the tunnel. Like for now, it's like kind of like, yeah, but maybe, you know, if you keep going on, maybe there's something. Who knows? Like at the very least, I know there's weekend, you know. When it's like, yeah, TGIF, it's Friday. When I can like do the Yakuza 0 thing, you know, where we go in the disco and then we dance Friday night. Dum 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 bum ba 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 bum bum ba 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 bum. Come to my world, Oji-san. I promise you'll be having a million pigeons. I tried like to feed like some pigeons back in the days, you know. But later on I found like out you can't really feed them like human bread or so, like from the bakery or like toast bread or something like that. Because they're like mostly for humans and they can like make them sick, and then like and then with that spread a virus, you know, kind of like wherever they go around where a lot of humans are, they can get like they can get sick as well, you know. Friday night. So yeah, kind of like you need specific like bad food or something like that. Really? I don't want to invite you to my world anymore. Okay, well, never mind. Never mind me. At least I escaped your world in a sense like that way. Let's see. So those things are a little bit closer. You broke my illusion. How cruel. Well, birds can be interesting also. But like kind of my youngest memory, or like most vivid memory of like a bird was like when I found like one dead like in my yard. In the backyard or so. I was just like going out to like water some plants, and then I remember like always there was a nest close to like the door that I like used to enter like enter the backyard or so. They were kind of like in a kind of hole like in the wall. They had like a nest there and everything. And then I found like, when I entered the door, you know, I opened the door, and then bird lies there, like a little bit in front of that. It's kind of like, what happened, you know? then look like upwards to where the nest like was. Use like kind of a step stool or so to like elevate myself to look like what's there, and then I think like maybe it's like a territory fight or so that like happened also, and then like the mother bird kind of died also, and this kind of thing. How cruel! Cute! So yeah, this was kind of my memory, like my most vivid memory, like with one. It was like not as a kid, but when I was like living alone, you know, like it was like a few years ago or so. And yeah, kind of like okay. It was like one of the few times where I actually like touched like a corpse, you know, like a dead body, like of a animal, and I brought like to a place where I can like bury it, and yeah. You touched it? Yeah. At least I like wore gloves or so, but it feels kind of like bad. Like the bird was like so small, and then it doesn't move anymore, you know. It was not like lively. The eyes were like closed, and it's kind of like yeah. I felt like more disgust than like poor thing when I was like touching the corpse and like trying to like find a place like where I can you know, put it underneath earth, like build a grave or no for that. But overall, like the sentiment was like, you know, yeah, it's like kind of bad for like them to stay out there and like just rot in the open, you know, kind of. And that their body has been like treated with like care at the very least, even though I felt disgust. I mean, yeah, this is a dead body, but in any case, you know, at least something. And also like rest in peace, like for maybe like her children or so, like the nest was like destroyed. So I think like there was like something of a territory fight, but like I'm not sure with what kind of another bird that was like bigger. Could be like a crow, I don't know. Some crows can be like assholes as well. But yeah. Because crows are like can be pretty big and they have like pretty long picking things, you know. I don't know how it's called. Let me write it out. Call that Schnabel in German. Schnabel. It's really like that, I don't believe it. I see. How sad. Poor birdie. Yes. It's kind of like a small bird, I don't know. Like, it was like not your common pigeon or so, for sure. I know all the fancy names in German, but I can't like, I do not know them in like in English. I never needed to know like how it would be like, how it like sounds like in other language or like how they're called in other languages, but yeah. It was like pretty nerdy, like if you like know all the names kind of. Like Gohan from Dragon Ball also. I feel yeah, yeah. Like when they're bilingual or so, I usually like I'm a German dude, you know. I do like my best with like English because I like it. It's like very practical, very useful, you know. But yeah, sometimes you have like struggles where like stuck with like vocab, and it's just like ooh, nandake, what was that again, you know? But yeah. But it's like nice overall to like try. When someone knows all the names in the original and the translated, I get so surprised. It's like cheating. Yeah? Well then they must be really skilled, I suppose. They've maybe been very diligent in like the studies. That Fang, by the way. The drawing looks cute. Yeah. I mean, like, the VTuber is also like pretty cute. They can be pretty degenerate as well, but very base in a sense, but also like very cute. They can draw as well, you know. They have like, she has like a little bit of a voice acting skill, you know. Like when she reads like Blue Archive story. Like when she's like voice acting that as well, and she's pretty like good at that. With her voice impressions, and she is like influential enough that she got like some collabs with like the official Blue Archive JP team, like the marketing team there, and she did like a good amount, you know. She was not sponsored, but she did a really decent amount of like advertisements, so that there will be like influx of JP players in there also, and I, amongst many others, like appreciate her for that, kind of. She does a pretty good job, and looking at her reactions also, like she's like doing watch along the streams and it's like, eh? No way, that's Mika? Oh, she's not a playable character? Woo! You know, and she was like in 3D and you can like see her whole body language and so, and she is like pretty enthusiastic, kind of like pretty based, you know, I would like say. And she also like goes like, whoa, Kane! Ah! And yeah, whatever, you know. And something like that as well. Like in Japanese, of course. But yeah. But I kind of like the reactions, you know. And her voice, when she gets like pretty excited, can like get pretty crazy. That it sounds like some monster of like Monster Hunter, you know. Like, you know, like, whoa! And whatever, you know. And yeah. But overall, she knows also like how to be pretty cute as well, like when she like do voice impressions as well. Making sound effects by herself, how cute. Yes, yes. I do like her little drawings when she like gets to the stream Blue Archive, you know? Like there's a new character out, she pulls them, reads their bond story, then she does a little bit of drawings of them, you know, and looks pretty nice. And she does it like since the release of Blue Archive, you know. She is like an OG in this kind of sense, you know. Like this is not fake, she does that for a long time. And she does read the story, unlike some other gamers I like know who used to be my leaders in the club or so. When the episodes are like out, what? There's nothing more? That's all? And then yeah, I kind of like the reactions of her, you know. It's kind of like I thought my soulmate in a sense, you know. And when you found like kind of a soulmate or a favorite in this kind of sense, of course I'm gonna throw a fan out of them, you know? Duh. He sounds very lovely. He's a cute Oji-san, like someone. Yeah, she has like something like Oji-san behaviors as well, I suppose. Even regular streams are kind of like great. I got like the chance to like tune into like a stream or so, and even there her voice impressions are like pretty nice. There was like some dude in a washing machine, you know, and then there would be like a voice line, you know, for them, and then where he like swirling around, you know, this washing machine was like on, not in full speed, was kind of like slower speed, but she would like speak like moving her head around the mic or so, like binaural kind of like far away, then closer or something like that, and like pretty immersive actually, and it's pretty nice. she doesn't like know how to entertain people. Entertain me at the very least. For even though there was a little bit of language barrier, I still like could understand like the bits, you know. This was like kind of nice. So yeah, she's not carried. She has skills. I like her comics, her manga. She does like daily. And she has a fanbox where she has like a bit of a longer manga strip in her whole season as well, and looks pretty cute, but it's like Japanese only, so I wanna practice my Japanese so that I can like enjoy these. And we'll have a lot to read, I suppose. Natori's got like really good, you know. It's not like in the level of like Shonen Jump or so, but it's pretty nice to look at. And it has a lot of personality. Some people are like worried, you know, this sounds like pretty cool person and then language barrier, but actually you don't necessarily need like subtitles or so, or understand Japanese to be able to understand the vibes, you know. Like when she does a temple in Blue Archive and then there's a pink and then she's like, whoa, you know, she does like those with the reactions kind of like, or like when there are two pinks instead of one, it's like, hey, you know, then yeah. Some people like compared like with Monster Hunters, you know, like with the monsters there, or like something in Tom Jerry, like where Tom is like, yahoo, or whatever, you know, and she does like similar, like kind of like shouts of excitement, or like when they get like beaten or whatever, you know, and yeah. It's like something I don't really get to see a lot, or hear a lot, so yeah. Of course I like watch Hololive, for example, like Holo Stars, but like the craziness they can reach in this sense, not that Hololive is I say so, you know, they can be quite degenerate as well, like the Aero Live back in the days, but it's like more corporate now. I feel like it's really like the indies that can like bloom. Like I love Shigeru Sensei as well. Like Rödo Sensei. Rödo's more an artist run VTuber, but gosh. Language barrier is the thing. Like the best way to like practice Japanese is like actually talk with someone, like hop in VR chat or like meet people in real life and then like talk to them, learning by doing, you know. I could try that, I suppose. I also need time. I cannot survive in Japan if I'm gonna be like, Nihongo dekinai yo. Is that so, you know, something like that. なんか、今、日本語を喋りたいですけど、ありがとうございます。そして、さよなら。また会う日まで。Whatever. And yeah. I do understand a little bit, you know. And it's kind of like I get like proud of myself when I like watch something and I understood like everything that's like said, you know. Like at least like the core message I could like I kind of understand. But depends like on person to person. Like some Japanese I can understand, some not. Like some streamers, some JP streamers I can understand, you know, and some not really that well. Like, let's say like some kind of professor or teacher, you know, and they like speak very fast. I might not be really able to like understand them. But if they like do enough pauses, you know, and I get the context, you know, like what they're talking about, you know, a concert about Undertale, and then Yume Tokibo, Suteki desu yone, you know, the song titles, also the performance, and then comments of like, oh, this was great, or this was like amazing experience, you know, and then like, oh, Sanzu, Nakoe, you know, something like that. Can give me like hints, you know, like when especially when they do sound effects rather than like trying to explain it like eloquently with words, you know. Sometimes you don't need to be eloquent to like explain things, you know. You can just like explain things in sound effects. It's kind of like fire, I would like say, to like immerse yourself into like some situations, you know. But yeah, that's like a way to like how you can learn like how you can learn how to entertain but also like explain things, you know. It maybe sound a little bit dumb, you know, if you do like a professional job, you know, and then this thing is like not working anymore. It does like you know every single time I like press that, and can you help me there, you know. Then some people be like, what the heck, machine, can you explain the proper words at all? But sometimes it's like more entertaining, memorable that way if you like explain things in sound effects, you know, like onomatopoeia. I think like the Japanese language can be like pretty like charming because of that. I don't know. Of course you can flex like with your vocab, of course, but I think like the onomatopoeia is like a lot more memorable, I suppose. By the way, true like Sana, I think like in 2022 or so, or 2023 already, but it was just like a Rakugake, you know, kind of like nothing like complete. Rakugake I like did in 10 minutes or so. I kind of like wanted to draw like something again. I really think they need to collab more. Archive of her. She already does a good job, but I want her to get more involved because she's freaking based. Very likable. Ah man, I kind of like want to sing karaoke again as well. And kind of like it's more interesting to like look into the song meaning, lyrics and everything, and what the meaning of all that is, you know. And I think like a lot of Japanese songs are really like about that people struggle with their life, and when they share like about that struggle in like a song in a sense. Like in Vocaloid there's a lot of like, man, I wanna end myself, you know, in a, like a lot of Vocaloid songs. But overall pretty much like they struggled with life, and then yeah. And then I don't wanna end my life, you know, I do want to live in a better kind of environment, you know. I do want to end like the hellhole, but I do not want to die, you know, in a sense. And then it's like, yeah, it's kind of like current addiction as well. Like Gehenna, for example, like the song, vocalized song there from Otaku. It gets pretty interesting. Or like Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare, you know, when I look into the meaning, there's a lot of like things like hidden in there, like stories or so. Like it's kind of an art form, I would like say. And I think like with songs, for example, it's pretty great. Of course you can tell a story like with a song, you know, or like story of like manga, books or whatever, movies, but with songs, you know, the music videos with that, it's like a kind of different beast. Because once the song is out there, you can interpret it however you want, you know. There are like many ways to like interpret something. It has not one meaning, it can have like multiple meanings, and especially like in Japanese language, you know, where kanjis have like different like meanings as well, you know. Yeah. I kind of like found it like bonkers when I do like some Anki, you know, like those Japanese flashcards or so. And I'm like on kind of like the vocabs that are like starting with S-U, you know. And when I thought like suru means like to do. Eikaku no suru, gohan no suru, you know, something like that. But then suru can also mean like copy or something like that. And then it's like, okay, yeah. And then, you know. But yeah, it seems like that things or life can have many meanings. It doesn't have one meaning alone, you know? Like when people like ask about the purpose of life, and one could like say, yo, it's for training the eye, you know? You train our data, this is your purpose, you know? You can pay taxes, give me your money. But it's also like, you know, there can be like more philosophical kind of input, you know? Like, then it can be a struggle, you know, but it's like walking through a dark tunnel, you know. Something like there might be like light at the end of it, you know. That life maybe not really be like a fight over and over again, like a room where you try to escape, you know. And then there's a gunman shooting you down every single time when you respawn. It might not be like a bubble you try to break out, but yeah. But there are really like many different ways like how to see life and like live life as well. Some are like pretty healthy, some are like not so healthy, you know. Like seeing things in numbers and stats rather than like, I don't know, for what meaning it could like entail, you know. But at the same time, some mathematics, you know, math people, they say like, numbers do not lie, therefore we should like see life in numbers, you know. Everything has a logic, and then yeah. I suppose. As long as it works out, of course. I suppose this one way to live life, you know. But if it turns out to be pretty unhealthy, then maybe rethink your choices, I suppose. Maybe think like about how to live life. I think I'm kind of a psychopath sometimes as well, because I'm pretty tidy. And I do get a little bit kind of like those kind of vibes when I see like things not in a tidy manner. It's kind of like this expression of like, bitch, you live like this, you know? Or like when you go to the men's toilets, like in a high school or like school in general, and then it's like so dirty in the boys' toilet rooms, boys' bathrooms, you know? Where they like put like toilet paper, you know, into the toilet bowl, and then flush, and then, you know, then it's yeah, it's like stuck, and like water gushes over because the water can't drain properly. Always like troublemakers, you know. And I go like to work. I expect people to be like, at least like mature, you know? And then you go to the toilet and then there are like writings on like the door or whatever, you know? And they draw like shit there, they write like shit there, and it's like, yeah, you know? Of course, like during my current workplace, it's like not like that. It's like pretty clean. Everyone's like mature. But sometimes there are like some people who are not really like that tidy as well. I don't have OCD. I don't think so. Because if it's about myself in my own room, it can be like, whatever, you know? But if it's like something else, like, I think like it's already tidy enough. I can like find everything where I want, where I need it to be, you know, in my room. But if I go to a different place, like my workspace, you know, and I want like everything to be like where it is, you know, and have like somewhat tidy. And something's like not there where I need it to be, and it's like, yeah. OCD, I think this stands like for over cleaning disorder or something like that, I suppose. But I don't have OCD, I think. Just like that, I prefer like a certain form of tidiness in my workspace. But when I can be myself, it's like whatever. And same like with anime, you know, like when I watch it, I can be that chill as ever I want. But in the public, you know, I need to be like careful how it operates. I don't want like people to look at me as like, you know, it's a weird dude, you know. That one is cringe. Like I think like in real life, not many people like know that I stream and be like somewhat someone like this on stream. I think like a lot of like friends are like, no, they don't even watch my streams, so it's like kind of like, yeah, good for now. Like I have a lot of friends like a Smash community or so, and if I play Smash, then it's pretty likely that they come here, you know. And every single time I do stream anything different in Smash, I will never see them here, so I think I'm kind of like safe as long as I don't stream like Smash or so. Like they come like to stream snipe me sometimes, you know, or like if I have an open arena, then they come here. But I don't really have reason to play Smash anymore, or like touch Nintendo games that much or so, unless it's like on the Switch one. But we have like kind of a state where you know, PlayStation like stopped like selling physical video games, you know. Like games, you know, they came like in a box. They came like with a little booklet, you know, like kind of the manual, the little tricks and hints, you know, on like how to beat certain stages, you know, a little bit of lore drops. I love those things, by the way. But at some point, the book is like gone. The game is still there, you know. And then we reach the point where we buy the box, but there's no CD. Where's the game? No? Kind of like this kind of like meme there. Oh, look at that! That comes in a little book. Hey, where's the book? Oi, where's the game? You know, like in this kind of like step by step. We gamers are getting screwed over. Run prices are like pretty expensive. Just so that people can like roleplay with their eye on like how to get like an anime girl like pregnant, you know. Or generate like prompts for like a movie, or like arts, books, or whatever. I hate it. But yeah, can't avoid it, you know. You know, I can remember like kind of the quote of like a Face Connect VTuber, so. You know, a wave is coming. A really big wave. And you have a surfboard. Do you ride it? Or do you get crumbled and washed away by the wave? even if you like the wave or not, do you give up there? Or do you try to ride it at the very least? See if there's like a light at the end of the tunnel in a sense, you know? So it's like... yeah. Can say like life is pretty much like in a sense like that. AI is just like another like hurdle to it, but not necessarily like the deal breaker. There are many things like people don't like, for example anime, but does it bring anything to complain about stuff? Like, you know, already my stance to like that, and can't really do much about that, I suppose, so... sometimes use like ChatGPT, but just if I have like questions regarding, let's say a PC for example, or like some procedures in the workspace as well. Because I need like the follow-up stuff, like questions as well, you know. Sometimes I like Google like stuff, look for Reddit source, you know. They explain like, for example, like one way to like deal with that, but then, okay, I did like now this and this and that, what is next, you know? And I need like a little bit more continuity, a continue in a sense, you know. A level 2, level 3, and then yeah. Okay, how long have I been? 1 hour 30, shit. Okay, I'm gonna end it within 2 hours. Oh, it's kinda cute. Oh. I wonder like what about that people, I wonder what those people are like doing who are like pretty, let's say depressive and like not having a most positive outlook in the world or like life in general. There's like something interesting about experiences like rats, you know, like lab rats as well, you know, and it's like always like about because they're like pretty intelligent and adaptive, like the rats, you know, they like to conduct like an experience like with like, you know, depression and like motivation as well. And the rats, let's say that is like, you know, they put like some rats like in some kind of like swimming environment, you know, and like dwell like a lot of waste and everything, you know, and for like the depressed rats, you know, they wouldn't like really like try as much, you know, and just like quit halfway, even though they did like a lot of like similar like things before, like swimming like from point A to B for long distance, you know, but they would like stop at some point. While the one that's like motivated or like not depressed at all, they like keep going on, you know, they're like actually like fighters, you know, until they like reach the end. And it kind of like shows a little bit, you know, I know like of some dudes who are like, sometimes will like show my chat and be like trauma dumping, I suppose, and I sometimes like think about those people. It's kind of like, I wonder how they are doing right now, you know, if they still like live and go like, you know, with a tunnel of life as well. I think trying is still like their best. But if they already quit, like if they already quit, it's kind of like, oh no, please don't. But but sometimes I do like think about that. And some songs like really reminded me of like that every now and then. Songs, music's pretty nice. Like I like Japanese music a lot because it has like can be pretty thought evoking. At very least like those kind of like a consume, you know, like Enbuna, Yoshika, Mili, they're like Akasaki, they're like many like kind of like artists out there, and they wrote like really great lyrics, you know. I do not like regarding like English music, I can't like think of too many, you know. There's like maybe like country roads take me home to the place also. But also like some classics like, I don't know, what shall we do for drunken sailor? But let's say like those don't really have like the greatest amount of meaning, you know. So I kind of like for the vibes in there, you know. Music can be like for vibes, but if you write like music songs to like tell a story, then it's kind of like, you know, yeah, okay, I see you, you know. It can be thought evoking, you know. Of course, there's some really good songs out there, you know, but I usually don't consume them, so I can't like say too much about that, I suppose. But yeah, some music is just for the vibes. I'm a weirdo. I'm a creep. I don't belong in here. Whatever. Like some, I don't know, maybe it's really like the thing of like, I speak English, therefore I understand. But if I like, if there's no double meaning in there, it's just like straight to your face, you know, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I think they have a problem. Do you need help? It's maybe not the first reaction, it's kind of like, you know, the visceral reaction of like, you know, are you accepted or are you gonna be like, what the hell is this, you know? But yeah, at least for my case, I would like say. But nowadays, I don't really like mind too much of like music, you know. Like I thought like back in the days I didn't really like rap, you know. When I heard like Kalau P. Mori's rap, it's kind of like okay, kind of okay for now, you know. I suppose I don't have a favorite genre or like genre I dislike. It just like depends, can I vibe with it or not, you know, more or less, like nowadays. If I think about it, yeah, but there are probably like some bangers out there. Like the KR scene, they're also like Korea. They do like K-pop, and some of them have like English lyrics only, you know. I also like find like songs that have like English in their mix as well, like besides like the Japanese. Also kind of interesting, you know. You know, like Gangnam Style is like basically like English word, but then like everything else is like some Korean. Baba, you know, it's like the silly dance, you know, but it's like pretty addicting, I suppose, and yeah. I suppose like this kind of you know, with the butlers, you know, they're gonna be like, Ojo-sama, Ojo-sama, it's time to go to bed. And when they say like something in English, you know, and like Korean or so, これは最後の警告です If you don't go to bed, and we start dancing, man. Da 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 da. Yare yare. When I do this kind of thing. It's pretty memorable. Like some songs are really like silly, just like for the love of the game out there, you know, I suppose. And if they're if they're either like really deep and like thought evoking or just like fun and like for the vibes, you know, I suppose. I think like this key music doesn't need to be like thought evoking, it just needs to be like fun and like good vibes, you know. There are many different genres, like many different like let's say for different like kind of purposes, you know. I think like the Russian music can be also pretty like interesting, pretty like hype as well. In the end of the day, really like depends, you know. Sometimes you need like some cheerful song, sometimes something cheerful, sometimes like good to like wallow into the blues, you know, feel the blues and like yeah. I do like a lot more of like those thought evoking ones, but also like the ones that are like with the vibes and like more happy, you know, like the party disco music in a sense. Then it's all like fine, you know, for me. I kind of like Blue Archive music because it's like pretty like positive for the most part. But when it gets serious, man, it hits hard. Like when the piano music plays or so, yeah. And then the slow rhythm, you know, they like bring into there. It's kind of like, yeah. Sometimes you need something that's very stupid. But you need to pace it around, you know? You can't like live life in full happiness. Too many good things can be bad. Also. I'm a Barbie girl. Live in a plastic world. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. I never thought like a song would have these lyrics of like, you can brush my hair, undress me everywhere. You know, I wouldn't have thought like a song would have like this kind of like lyrics in there, you know. But there is actually. There can be like some crazy like stuff out there. Like, yeah, Barbie doll, of course, you know, of course you can untrust a Barbie doll, you can brush her hair, but if you like don't think about it for a moment, it's like, what the hell is this? Is this raunchy, dirty song? What? And yeah. But it's like the funs of you know, of that. But yeah, if I think like about English-ish songs, I like some of the English songs made in Japan. I also like those songs from Robert Pattinson also. You know, like Shelter, like the music video there. This one anime-ish music video is also like pretty cool. It's like what they're like most famous for, I suppose. But I look like into like other songs Robert Pattinson did, and it's kind of like, man, pretty nice. They have like something of meaning in there actually, not as just like for dumb vibes or so. music talk. I'm not really like that well versed in music though, I suppose. I know like of X, the series, and Aniki. He's pretty much into music, but at the same time, he cannot really explain like why he does like certain stuff also. And he's something claimed like something like in a sense where I kind of disagree, like X and Aniki. Bro. Kind of like, yeah, if you can explain, you don't really like it. Then, bruh, if you can explain it, then you, then it's not that great, you know. If it's just like I like it and then just an excuse to like not elaborate, then it kind of sounds lazy, bro. Like if you can like tell something about the meaning of like the song or like why you like it so much, if maybe it inspired you, you know, maybe like the vibes of that, if it's like sounds simple, if it's like uplifting, or if it's like pretty deep and like calming, you know, if you can like at least like kind of explain it, you know, even if you have to use an onomatopoeia, so like sound effects in a sense, then it's like pretty good, you know. But if you cannot explain what's the heck is going on and why you like it, you know, the message of the music, the lyrics also, then I don't know, like maybe you're too lazy, you're just another like guy in the comments will be like, no way, oh that's so great, you know. But yeah, he's my idiot. Sometimes you need like some other like opinions around. But I do think if you can elaborate why like stuff, the better, you know. The one who will get your message, you know, will appreciate it, I would say. Like if you can explain like in detail like what you like about their music or like their piece of work or whatever, you know. Like what's the reasoning why you give it a 10 out of 10, like mid, you know? What's the reason why you give it a 9 out of 10, you know? Can you explain to me? Oh, I can't explain it. Fuck off, man. If you can't explain it, you don't really like it, right? Or you're just too lazy. It's like one thing I really might disagree with Aniki, you know? But yeah. But yeah, that's like kind of why I like, for example, like people who can like, who don't really need to explain, but obviously like show that I like it, you know, like Natori Sana. Like those reactions of her seem really genuine, she's pretty base, so yeah, I can trust her. Like some people I can trust like really well, without like needing to read their reviews, if they have even one, you know. Not okay. Like some small little details. But even if I disagree with someone doesn't mean that I absolutely hate them, you know. Sometimes disagreements can be like pretty good to like evoke like some discussions, you know. If you can discuss like things healthily, then cool, you know. I do like how some people like evolve. Have like some character progression in a sense, you know. When they skip cutscenes the whole time before, but then they start reading stuff, you know. Kind of like gave like my reason why I like Natori Sana. And I think these are like pretty detailed explanations enough. Also like her character design is pretty cute. It's like a nurse kind of like thing, but according to her lore, it seems like that she might be the one with problems. That she's like just cosplaying as a nurse. That she's not a nurse, but she's the patient in a sense. You can see she's like wearing bandages or so. And usually bandages are like worn by like patients, not like by nurses, you know. It's like bandages around the wrist, you know. Usually when you have like wrist bandages, you know, it's all like those people who like cut their wrists. And are like in this kind of like phase where they struggle with like life in a sense, you know. The struggle of life, that they want to end their life, but they don't want to end their life at the same time, because life can bring like beautiful things, you know. But sometimes you reach like the points where your mentality can't keep up anymore with like the struggle of life. You know, like we have to pay taxes, or shit, we have like AI overlords, you know, now my art is in danger, my skills also, my life likelihood to like survive also, or like entertainment is like, you know, do I want to like die and like still live in this world, or like still live in this world, you know. Maybe there's light in the tunnel of the end, you know, maybe not, but yeah. But her like cosplaying as a nurse, you know, the one who can like cure and like help people, it's also like, okay, yeah, kind of interesting decision as well, like things that like add to the lore, you know. It's kind of can be like pretty vague and ambiguous, you know, but there's like some lore stuff, but it can be pretty interesting to look at it, and it's like, yeah. She wants to help people, I suppose. But she's the one who needs help as well. I think like every purpose needs like help, you know, in the end of the day. Like everyone has struggles they can like take on alone, in a sense. Like some you can take on alone, of course, you know, if you meditate and everything, and do understand like the logistics of your brain, or like your inner demons in a sense, you know, and just like try to dominate them in a sense. But it can like for many people it's like hard to like do it on their own, you know. Like what's the meaning of life even? Some people like say it's a checklist or so. Some people say it's like the punishment or so, whatever. But I don't think really it's a checklist in a sense, you know. Like, we don't even know what the reason is, like why we are born in the first place, you know. We are just like thrown in there, you know, and nobody asks us for permission. We just like thrown to a game of life, and yeah, do you play with the starter and you're like being dealt with, or do you give up now? I would like say it's kind of a waste, because you can live life only one time, you know. And if you keep going on, maybe you might hit jackpot, whatever, you know. Like, it may take a while. Maybe you will never get it, but if you can at least like neutral ending and not like at the very least, you know, it's like good enough, I suppose. It's better than the worst outcome, right? And actually, humans are not really that. At least, let's say, you know, there are humans who actually look out for other ones, in a sense. Like, a lot of humans are not that cruel enough to, like... Maybe kids are cruel, but not, like, actual adults, and so a lot of them... they do, like, care for each other, I suppose. You know, when someone's getting mobbed, you know, it's not like in Korean, like, high school webtoon dramas, you know, where... everyone's looking away and not helping, you know, or like that they like join into like the bullying so that they'll not be next. It's not necessarily like that, you know. Like they see it but they don't do anything, and they really don't join in, you know. But for the most part, there was like people who like help out. You can like trust people in a sense. It's kind of like maybe a little bit weird, you know, like, I spoiled like something about Squid Game, but there was like something of the ending moment where there's a guy, a homeless guy, you know, it's like snowing outside, it's pretty cold. And then they did a bet, okay, does someone come to help him, or do they just let him sit there and die, you know? Something of a bet. TLDR, it kind of like ended on the point that it's better to like trust people and like those empathy, like, you know, that there's like kind of empathy and that they're like people who actually willing to help others. But in reality, it really might be that some people just like let that homeless guy like die in the cold, you know, rather than like getting some help. Might not be the best moment, or like the best kind of example. I love those scenes. Yeah, I suppose like those philosophy questions, you know. Can we entrust our life to our next one? To the people, humans that are next to us? Can we trust that they have our best interest in mind? That at least care about us? Or at least for where they live or not, you know? It really depends, like, if this homeless guy is like, I don't know, like an asshole or so, and it's like a nuisance, then I suppose they can deserve to die, you know? Like if they're bad apple. But if they have like some redeeming qualities, you know? Then yeah, I suppose they have a reason to like, be helped with, you know? Homeless people, there can be many reasons why like where became like homeless. Maybe you have just like bad gotcha, bad luck, you know, with the job market, when you end up there. Or you are like some bad apple and really did like some bad things that you deserve to be fired and then end up in the streets and then yeah, whatever, you know. Some people might become like still assholes, or some might reflect on their actions, be like, ah, I fucked up, you know, let me try better, you know, and then yeah, they don't try to be like too much of a nuisance for other people. Maybe they like go like in the park and like clear up the trash, you know, maybe do some voluntary public jobs, you know, I suppose. But I think like for the Squid Games, you know, like with the homeless guy, like while it's like cold outside, they really should have like showed a little bit more whether or not he deserved to like live or die. The body markers are unexpected, right? Not really sure like what the context is with the body markers, but yeah. But I was just like kind of interpreting like Natori Sana's design a little bit. Like she's like in a nurse outfit or so, but she has bandages around her wrist, you know? Kind of indicates that she's cutting herself. She might be the patient after all. She's just cosplaying as a nurse, you know? Trying to help other people. She's a pretty cute nurse though. So I think she's doing a good job to help people. And maybe with that helping herself, huh? You know? Which is kind of cute, I suppose. Pretty admirable. Like when there's kind of a lore behind like, you know, like the outfit and so, it becomes pretty interesting, I suppose. Like she has lore. She's not only a base person, but she has like a decent like idea of like, I suppose, of like writing, I suppose. In that sense, it would be cool if I also have lore, but I don't have, really. I'm just a normal dude, you know? Some people gonna come ask me, hey, Tosan, what's your lore? And I'm gonna be like, I've been backstabbed in a backwater dungeon, you know? My trusted companions betrayed me, but Isekai Truck-kun came over and rolled me and like ended my life. Now I'm reborn as like a little guy looking for my Basti One-sama. That is like the story, right? Well, some of us have like really the deepest kind of lore and something that can interpret, you know. But yeah. The color palette of the drawing is amazing. It looks lovely. Yeah, right? She has great colors. She can like draw pretty well, like Natori Sana. It's pretty simple, like what I do as well, but has some charm, I would like say. I like her manga strips she like does. When I just look at the drawings, even if it's like black and white, it's pretty like charming as hell. Like it has like a lot of her personality, and she also has personality, so pretty much like her. Even though there's a little bit of a language barrier, I do enjoy her still. Like at least I can like, understand like the majority of that, because Japanese is like not really that difficult, I would say. It looks very cute. I like her in my first impression. Let's go. And I guess I did a good job with the drawing as well. Okay, I almost like reached the 2-hour mark, so I think I can kinda like end it around there. Reached the average of like 2 hours. I could have like maybe completed 90 minutes or so, but kinda want to yap a little bit, you know, and I suppose my cough is like kind of gone. Kind of recovered a little bit. Like I ate a little bit of oatmeal with like blueberries, by the way. Oatmeals can give like a lot of vitamins and like strength, by the way. They're pretty cheap though, they're pretty tasteless, but the blueberries kind of like carried it for me with the milk, so it's like kind of okay. Blueberries are also good for your brain actually, like that it helps against like anti-aging for your brain also. That you keep like your brain fit and stuff, you know. It was a fun stream, a lot of topics you mentioned today. Yeah, it was like about chicken fights, pigeons, also what else? Pollen allergies, like sicknesses, you know. But overall, we came like to positive topics. We talked like about the girl I like Drew, I suppose. So yeah. Blueberries, yucky. Your voice sounds clearer, yes, I suppose. I suppose it's like better for now. But it might like happen again that I gonna be tomorrow be like, ugh, and then like pretty bad because I can't sleep because yeah, my voice is gonna be like I need to cough. I cough like and I kinda can't sleep. But tomorrow I will also like stream. I'm gonna stream the archive. I'm gonna do the boring mobile gaming gameplay stuff, I suppose. But my favorite boss, so I will like try to throw hands with like Bina and maybe like C. It's not highest difficulty. I used to like stream a lot of like my raids or so. But I figure like in the long run, I had an audience, but I figured like in the long run, you know, this is a mobile game. It's pretty hard to sell people on like watching gameplay of a mobile game actually. If it's a visual novel style, just story, fine. But if it's just like mobile gaming, like Plants vs Zombies, Temple Run, Subway Servers, I don't know if I can sell people that, you know? Even if it's Blue Archive, cute, no, epic anime girls, guns, and then like mecha bosses. I don't think I can sell it that well. Sounds fun? Really? Homaka. It sounds a bit hard. Yeah, I mean Bina's hard. Bina's a snake mecha boss, you know? My Bina's hard. Oh gosh. I like to touch your Bina. Oh. That's kind of the in-game like memes and jokes, I suppose. There's also a material called Wolf's Eggs, you know? Let me write it out. Like there's a resource in this game and it's called Wolf's Eggs. wolf's egg. But you can also read it as like wolf sack, you know? Then add another S and then it sounds like the dirty words. There are like some kind of memes with that as well, you know? Oh yeah, would love me some then this material, you know? It's like similar like when people use the crepe emoji, you know? Wow, I wanna crepe her or something like that, you know? Something like that. Like, they're like kind of like this in-game memes. Like this joke, yeah, kind of jokes, yeah, I suppose. But yeah, any case, I will like quit for today. This was a fan of Natori Sana. And I'm gonna stream tomorrow, like the archive, around a little bit earlier than today. And Yakuza is also gonna be this week, so I'm gonna look forward to that. I have like a lot to do, but gonna be fine because it's the weekend. Any case, I wish you a nice rest of the day, evening, good night, whatever times in the world you all are. With that, gonna say bye bye.